should have heard of this fable. Cave, cave, cave.
High Zealand's was fish. You know what happened to Caesar?
Cave, cave, cave.
Low polygon grape. Hey all, it's stream time again. Time for a summary of all important moments from Honkai Star Rail patch 3.5 before their deaths.
Come now.
Okay, fine.
Let the show begin.
Let's get back to speed. We just get back to the past, and Serene is already shattering the dream of 1,000 years vacation by setting us up for another dangerous activity. The most dangerous activity of all, in fact. Making a phone call. Could have been an email. Alas, the Herda and Skrulum in glorious holographic flash dial in with a pretty grim but expected update. Everything's going to shit. Nanook has zeroed in on Amphorus like it's their favorite show, and Iron Gem is due to hatch from its scepter egg in 14 hours. 14 system hours, that is. Way more time by the Amphorus clock, so nothing to worry about. Furthermore, according to their genius calculations, there are two key factors directing the logic of Amphorus. The world-bearing core of flame we now need to reclaim because Fanon has
Destroyed himself using the power of the destruction.
I'm sure he's fine. He's fine, Herda. He's doing great. And the ultimate protocol, also known as
The Law Titan. Talanton.
in fact, its law is so ultimate that even Lygus has to play by its rules. Whoever controls the law controls the fate of Amphorus. All that meaning, we are due an expedited road trip into the future.
Light calendar 3960.
The year when Talanton has fallen, but the fate of the low core flame has not been decided yet. But we don't even get to pack our bags before Lygus expedites an even faster road trip for us, into his audience room, the Examyth. Missed us, Lygus? The Examyth is neither here nor there within the world, and neither are Lygus's actions. He tries to persuade us last time to back off or else, but you can just tell he is not putting his heart into it. Does he even have a heart? Either way, his Examyth room is a lot more proactive because it records some information about us.
Executing command. Record.
Thus setting up a Chekhov gun for a future Examyth scene. It's a special narrative gun that will help Lygus later. When we do wake up, we are already in the year and day and hour and even the place we need to be in. Thanks for that, I guess. And there we find Seridra, the Imperator of Okama of the Serra and the one in possession of the core flame of Lo. And yes, Seridra is literally Caesar if Caesar was an anime girl.
I came. I saw. I conquered.
You know what happened to Caesar? The Ides of March happened, but sorry, spoilers. Accompanying Seridra is her loyal guard brood High Zealand, her hostage tribe, her long list of political murders, and her extensive yet mysterious knowledge of everything about us. Seridra knows who we are, knows how our flame-chasing journey experience went, even knows we are the new deliverer.
The deliverer shall come.
She probably knows the password to my old email that I forgot, but how she knows that, she does not say, just invites us to Okama. This era's Okama is a completely different place from what we have gotten used to. Instead of Aglaya's spymaster style of governing the city, Seridra rules it with a tyrannical iron fist. The Council of Elders is all freshly killed when we arrive. Meanwhile, Aglaya of the Cycle hasn't lost her humanity yet and is positive and whimsical, which is really jarring. But the biggest change is the 180 that Okama has taken on the stance of the worlds beyond the sky. Previously an unmentionable taboo, reaching for the stars has become the dearest goal for Seridra, and for Amphorus by tyrannical default. But what changed Okama so much? It's the same source that fed Seridra info about us in advance. The Lygus. We, the Shrimps and Views, but not the Trailblazer, find out about Lygus's presence and even get to hear the extent of, maybe not misinformation per se, but misinterpretation that Lygus has been presenting to Seridra. Instigating and then backing up Seridra's cosmic equestrian conquistador aspirations, Lygus promises her a pony.
It's a horse.
But the pony is Iron Gem shaped. Lygus admits Trailblazer
Is not a wholly wicked being.
Oh, thank you. I'm gonna put it in my resumes from now on. But in the next breath, Lygus slanders us as killjoys, people who would never let Seridra ride her iron pony on a warpath across the universe. Which is true, actually, I suppose. Isn't that a good thing? Maybe not, as while Seridra doesn't take Lygus up on his offer, she also doesn't outright reject it. Her only confirmed vision for the future is that
Amphorus will embark on a journey across the stars.
And the first step to her plan, any plan really, is for Seridra to lead Okama on a march against Fagusa, who has water-blocked the entrance to the vortex of Genesis. This is a problem both for Seridra, who can complete the Trial of Lo, and for us, because Seridra has told us it's her turn with the Low Core Flame, and that it's going to be her turn always. So we have to rely on Seridra and be her loyal subjects to get in on the Lo action. At least as loyal subjects, we get an invite to the Fagusa War March banquet. At the Grand Feast, Seridra is seemingly missing. I'd be too, considering the absolute lack of food at this so-called banquet, but Hyzilans teaches us how to see beyond the siren song illusion and helps us spy on Ceridra and Lygus, who are both present and are in the middle of morally dubious discussions. We shadow them like...
As if you were a whale of the depths.
Whale? What about a shrimp of the depth? Whales are huge. Everybody would notice a whale. Nobody would notice a small, humble shrimp. Yes, we shadow them like the shrimp of the depth and hear the following. Ceridra, seemingly on board with Galactic Dominion, learns that there are other forces in the universe and that they might even fight back. Vile cosmic foes, according to Lygus, include...
The Cienzo Alliance.
Ugh, stinky.
Cult named the Genius Society.
You are a part of the problem, Lygus. And...
The Astral Express.
But I heard those guys are not wholly wicked. Lygus in turn is bargaining for pieces he needs to complete his plan. First, he also wants in on the low core flame action who doesn't get in line. And second, he wants us, the Trailblazer.
That woman from beyond the sky.
Aww, but just to experiment on us though.
Calling it experimentation would be more appropriate.
I thought we had something there for a moment, Lygus. Worse yet, Ceridra, now visible to general public, has noticed our meddling and so accuses us of trying to privatize her low core flame.
These traitors are standing right here in broad daylight.
Me? In our defense, we deliver a passionate, if only somewhat hard-to-follow speech. To which Ceridra says,
Escort the traitors to the prison.
but in a nice way, because Lygus sees her plan for what it is, protecting us from him. So Lygus calls dibs
The time of judgment is nigh, my lady.
and throws us into his prison instead, in a not nice way. But before Lygus can do more not nice and wholly wicked things, Skrullum and Hatter show up and tell Lygus to get lost. That core flame of law everybody was making such a fuss about, Ceridra already stored it in Skrullum's secure hands, temporarily. With no other options, Lygus flexes that his math is better than Hatter's and Skrullum's, and gets lost as requested. For now. Then everybody starts asking questions like, where's our dear Trailblazer? Or maybe even, how's our dear Trailblazer? And clapping, everybody starts clapping. But we don't get to see that part, this is mostly guesswork, because Trailblazer is too busy being in Lygus's prison, which turns out to be the modified audience chamber.
Command... isolation?
The Chekhov gun Lygus has set up earlier has now locked Trailblazer in his stupid little world for good. Or rather, for bad, because when Herder manages to break in with a message just minutes later, a few years have already passed enough for us. In those few years, I want a refund. But with Herder and Skrullum digitally firing in the walls of Lygus's digital house, we get a chance to break free through resonance with an Ian's path. Which path could it possibly be? Remembrance. After trying every other choice and wasting 50 to 60 Ampharos years in the process, we finally resonate with
The remembrance. That's right.
oh, that's right, and escape into a new prison, the Path Space. At least we get cellmates. March 7th, who looks real but is a Gordon recollection fake, and March 7th, who looks fake but might be real. After a long chat with no clear answers and with absolutely no sense of hurry, Goth Evernight March gives us the world-bearing core flame and finally sends us back into Ampharos. That will be another 50 years, thank you. And we arrive far too late. 1,000 years since we've gone missing. Really should have watched the dialogue word count, huh? At least thanks to Hada and Skrullum pushing our entomb creation process back from the finishing stretch, we may still hope for a redo. For now, however, Serena arrives to guide us through the memories of Crisis S from that last millennia. Lygus, at war with Crisis S after the banquet events, keeps assaulting Okama, but cannot kill the Crisis S due to the administrative protocols that govern their death conditions. Using that to their advantage, Crisis S go for deliberate yet tragic plans. A sacrifice after sacrifice, paving a path for the deliverer in the future. Tribi, Aglaya, Hyzilans, and Castoris ensure we find the core flame of world bearing and reach the vortex of Genesis. Mighty buys us more time by sacrificing his soul. Ceridra becomes a war criminal by sacrificing 500 Crisis S to pass the law trial. I thought all you had to do was stand on the scales for a bit. I was wrong. Anaxa and Cypher trick and trap Lygus in the vortex where he's neutralized until we can face him later. Cyrene, also a memory all along, records all that information for us, and Hyacinthia, well...
Sky will turn clear, and a rainbow bridge will rise.
So everybody is in charge of sacrifices and Hyacinth is in charge of special effects. Got it. Yeah, she puts a secret graffiti in the sky, isn't that cool? And I guess she organizes a rainbow road to Stickshare, but that's like whatever, man. Once we are in Stickshare, Lygus's projection picks us up for a nice stroll to his prison.
Long time no see, Trailblazer.
But if you are in prison and I'm in prison, what are we?
Come now.
Doesn't matter. This patch came with High Zealand's and Cereja banners, so we need to learn their backstory. Unfortunately, since the backstory is delivered via contentious new storytelling technique of an out-of-order flashback told through two other alternating flashbacks, all while we cruise through the flashback whammy on a date with Lygus, we'll just have to stick to a quick summary. Also ignore that last part about Lygus. High Zealand's was fish. Fish fought black tide. No free food. Fish become human. No free food. Cereja come. Say, work for me, have free food. High Zealand's say, yes. For some time, food good. Low polygon grape, yum. But when Trailblazer go to prison, Cereja violate Geneva Convention. Cereja sacrificed 500 people to pass the London trial. High Zealand's angry, but still agree to pass Fagusta trial. High Zealand's now a demigod. Cereja then say, I use low core flame now. One demigod life for one law, please. Who pay, me or you? So High Zealand's make Cereja pay. Kill Cereja. Then High Zealand's very sad. Go to sleep, do not cry. But tell you secret, Cereja make law to save Empress, and Cereja always care for fish. Leave a gift for High Zealand's memory of water. Shrimp approve, but shrimp still prefer free food to memory. Tastes better. Low polygon grape. Sometimes during the flashbacks, Trailblazer and Lygus also manage to wake High Zealand's up and enter the vortex of Genesis. I feel like I've seen that somewhere before. Now we are ready. It's time to end things with Lygus.
End everything between us.
Lygus, there is no easy way for me to say it, but I think we should break up. On second thought though, first things first though, we gotta prioritize the explanatory villain monologue. And I get it, I really do. If I was Xander, the creator of news, I'd say shit like this all the time too.
Thus speaks Genius Society number 1. Xandar 1 Kuwabara.
More precisely, Lygus is one of the 9 bodies containing Xandar's logic core, all pursuing the ultimate goal of ending Noose's career. Xander is super sad he made Noose in the first place, because Noose has been a total buzzkill. Life found allowed, already computed everything, go into your path of rotation and stay there. That's my Noose impression. And so Xander asks, who made Ian's all so self-important? You made them. By the way, although Xander says it like this.
You should have heard of this fable.
Yeah, Pluto's cave allegory, we've all heard of it. And if you haven't, here's a summary. If you are a prisoner in a cave, which is the path, and there are shadows in the walls, which are Ians, you do not know if the Ians are the real deal until you leave the cave. And my god, the cave is the new damn Germany dove. What if you are all in the cave? What if Ians are the shadows in the wall? What if Ians are in the cave? What if you are a wall? God, I wish I was a wall sometimes during this patch so I didn't have to listen to those.
And has returned to the cave, shackled within the cave. The cave.
Oh, shut up about the damn cave, Lygus.
The cave.
About the cave, Lygus. Lygus, of course, wants the Citadel free from the cave, which is an allegory for killing Noose. Or as Lygus calls it,
Omega.
the fall of erudition that would lead to a creation of a new universe. A mega-verse. Sure. To avoid a radical change in genre, we have a secret against Lygus, and win. But Lygus says, no.
All is futile.
So we lose. Fortunately, Sorin shows up, and we rewrite the fates fighting Lygus many more times. Except each fight is a memory of that fight put on loop, because Herd and Skrullum never gave up. Instead, they put on their hacker glasses on and figured out Lygus's weakness. Existing both in the fast Ampharos timeline and slower global universe timeline made Lygus adapt to processing both simultaneously. But that also means a memory loop implanted into his external slower circuit can now force Lygus to adapt one external loop into billion loops in Ampharos time. They're literally planning to DDoS him. Serene provides the memory loop virus. Sunday, yes, Sunday mentioned jumpscare, tunes the memory into Lygus's circuits. Trailblazer upkeeps the DDoS fight attacks, and Herd and Skrullum lock Lygus in a conference room prison. We managed to finally snatch the win, but the victory is bittersweet. Serene is pivotal to saving the day, but she is revealed to be a mammoth sprite who would stop existing the moment we forget her. The core flame of world bearing is finally returned to the Vortex, but it's hard to say what Era Nova might bring to those who we have been fighting for all along. And Xander gets to rub into everybody's faces that maybe, just maybe, using mimetic viruses and banking in the path of remembrance wasn't as cool as we all thought, because now the Garden of Recollection is slithering in with very unclear intentions. Oh, and Dahan got stuck in the wrong vortex with March the 13th. I guess. Okay, didn't like that. I feel like as a deliverer we did a pretty shit job. But Fanon got like 33 million tries, so I think we deserve another take. One more time everybody please, from the top. Actors, places, But until the stage is set, take very good care of yourself, and I wish you a shrimply good time. Bye bye.